The British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
From the Broadcast Center at BCIT's Burnaby Campus, this is All Talk Radio. You're listening to 1680 The Crow.
Good morning, I'm Lachlan Irvin, and this is your 10 a.m. news update for BCIT's The Crow. Starting with a developing story, Bell Canada has announced cuts to 4,800 jobs across the country, including many from Bell Media. CEO Mirko Bibic announced the layoffs in an open letter this morning.
To succeed in a landscape that's being reshaped, it's more important than ever to continue to align our operating model and cost structure to customer expectations and the revenue profile of our business segments. And for these reasons, we're undertaking a significant workforce restructuring initiative, our largest in nearly 30 years.
As part of those cuts, Bell will be selling 45 of their 103 radio stations, which includes 21 in BC alone. In intergenerational arts and culture organizations, participation in the Chinatown Lunar New Year Parade was rescinded. This comes after their participation was initially rejected, then accepted. Caitlin No reports.
The annual Chinatown Spring Festival Parade is Vancouver's largest Lunar New Year celebration. Melody Ma, one of the organizers of Chinatown Together, says she was surprised when she received a letter from the parade's committee kicking them out from formally participating. The reason being political activism having no place at the event.
And if you look at the banners are really aligned with the spirit of Lunar New Year. For example, our head banner is just our organization name, Chinatown Together. None of these banners are political activism at all.
The group's appeal has been met with silence from the parade's organizing committee. Caitlin O, BCIT's The Crow.
Iceland's famous Blue Lagoon was evacuated, and thousands are without hot water after a nearby volcano erupted Thursday. According to volcanologist Dave McGarvey, the blast is the third eruption since December alone.
Yeah, what's happened today is it's basically a very close repeat of what happened back in December, and it's linked very strongly to what happened in eruption in January. We have magma collecting beneath a particular part of the ground in the area, and then every so often it reaches a point where it moves sideways and then erupts along a crack in the ground.
SFU are making more changes to the athletics department just 1 year after cutting the football program. Reporter Isaac Newson with this story.
Tuesday morning brought another twist in the tale of SFU athletics as the sports marketing and communications department was cut. Jacob Lazar worked as the sports communications manager for almost 3 years and felt like the changes had been coming for a while.
Basically dating back to the summer, the university was looking at us saying, how can we go without a marketing and communications department? You know, they looked at us as, oh, that's where we can save money.
Lazar also emphasized the harm that cutting the department will cause to student athletes at SFU.
This is going to have a clear, direct, and immediate negative impact on student athletes. Like, if they really, truly believe that these positions could be replaced, at least wait till the season's over and not put the athletes through this.
Lazar says the support they've received from SFU following the cuts has been the bare minimum. Isaac Newson, BCIT's The Crow.
And in weather, expect a mixture of sun and cloud throughout the day. Right now in Burnaby, it's 6 degrees. This has been your 10 a.m. news update. I'm Lachlan Irvin for BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow. This is 1680 The Crow, and you're listening to our feature presentation.
Disney has a vision of the world, and they're just gonna keep pushing until the world is accepting of people from all backgrounds.
Welcome back to Behind the Scenes. I'm Lauren Achille.
And I'm Sophie Hansen.
So, what are we going to be talking about?
Well, it's out with the old and in with the new. The company Walt Disney is and has been dominating the entertainment industry for over 100 years.
That's right. So we are going to be diving into what criteria Disney has put into place for diversity, equity, and inclusion when it comes to casting, because there has been some controversy over this. And I mean, all over social media, there are some people who are just amazed and super happy about these new castings, but then there's others that are not so pleased. People all over social media are pushing their opinions, and so today we are going to pick apart what people have been saying, all while trying to get to the bottom of what Disney's actual criteria and intentions are for casting diverse roles. And just so you know, we are going to be saying the term DEI a lot.
Yeah, so basically when we say DEI, it's going to be short for this acronym: diversity, equity, and inclusion. And basically that's the process that is enabling the consumers and staff to feel safe and seen and represented when being involved in Disney.
Cue the music! Oh my god.
We have our heading.
Here we go! The world of Disney is the most magical place ever. Well, I grew up watching Disney, but we only noticed the drastic changes made to their iconic movies over the last few years. As a kid, lots of things would kind of, fly over my head when it came to racist aspects in certain movies. And now when analyzing these movies, there are things that are now coming to light. And to be fair, lots of films, not even by Disney, all shared racist views. And honestly, that's just how it was. These last 25 years are significantly different when it comes to DEI and so much more. So, we have to remember that what is societally normal and accepted now is something that wouldn't be, 60, 70 years ago. So we kind of have to look at this from a modern view and a historical view and kind of not get those mixed up. Now, the two other movies, Peter Pan, aka Peter and Wendy, and The Little Mermaid, have released live action remakes in 2023. So social media has had a heyday in terms of the official content and casting, and the media has been able to express a diverse array of opinions.
How do we get to Neverland?
Fly, of course. Peter Pan was first brought to life in a play by James Matthew Barrie in 1904, and it wasn't until 1953 that it was created into the first of the Peter Pan movies. Wendy, John, Michael, they're all siblings, are visited by Peter Pan, who claims to be from this place called Neverland. Neverland is supposedly a land in which they will never grow up, and of course they all fly to Neverland, because why not?
Hey, honestly, I don't even blame them.
I would do the same thing if I could. As we touched on in the beginning, we can recognize as journalists that terminology and what is or isn't culturally appropriate can change over time. But, oh my goodness, if you look back on the Peter Pan, go watch the movie, you'll notice some of the terminology and names for groups of people wouldn't really be that acceptable today. The voice cast was what you may already be expecting. Almost, entirely Caucasian American men and women, boys and girls. And that's why the research for Peter Pan was really interesting. I wanted to focus on the new live action version now. So Peter and Wendy was released just this year and features a cast from all over the world. Peter is played by Alexander Molyneux, a 16-year-old mixed-race British actor. This was Molyneux's big break. So just because he started working for Disney didn't mean that the public opinion was hidden away. He faced a multitude of conflicting opinions on the fact that the original Peter was Caucasian.
Hold on, just to backpedal for a really quick second, did the voice actor for Peter in the original Peter Pan film ever face any backlash?
Well, no. Not back then for sure. So the main voice actor, his name is Bobby Driscoll. Driscoll actually played a lead part in The Song of the South in 1946, which, if you haven't heard, was a very problematic film. And The Song of the South also plays at a very popular Disney ride, Splash Mountain, which is no longer. Unfortunately, after many years of substance abuse, Driscoll passed away at the age of 31 due to heart failure, but the public has their fair share of criticism. I wanted to mention specifically the portrayal of indigenous communities in Peter Pan was also built around internalized racism. This is absolutely a reflection of the times. The original play, written by J.M. Barrie, even names the indigenous group something that is irrefutably racist. I will let you guys look it up if you're interested. I won't repeat it myself, but in some cases, Peter is also referred to as the Great White Father. The 1953 film of Peter Pan now showcases a content warning, highlighting that the topics in the film are depicting characters incorrectly.
Well, that took a turn, and I have to say, after having done so much research, the both of us, on each of these films, we can actually see how dark the themes of most of these Disney movies actually are. You have to tell me what you found.
Oh, absolutely. Do you recognize any of this?
Something about you seems different. I can't quite figure it out.
She got legs, you idiot.
The Little Mermaid that came out recently.
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. The controversy over that movie all over social media is crazy.
All right. Well, let's just get into it then.
Okay. Well, let's start from the very beginning.
Love to explore that shore up above.
The Little Mermaid was released in 1950 and had primarily white voice actors. So the woman who voiced Ariel was Jodie Benson. Benson is an American voice actress. She also has red hair, coincidentally. The new movie now, The Little Mermaid 2023, is out with a new Ariel. Her name is very well known, Halle Bailey. She is an African-American actress who plays Ariel. Now, there was and still is a lot of controversy over this casting. Some fans were really proud, really happy, and pleased about this change, and others not so much. Why have a black Ariel? Isn't she white in the cartoon? This is a common question among Disney fans that have been posted all over TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. If you go take a look on Disney's Instagram account, there's a post of the new live-action movie of The Little Mermaid being released. And these are some of the comments. They're literally on there. You can go check right now. And they quote, "Can you start making good movies with original stories again, please? It just doesn't hit right." Another one, "I feel nauseous, and who else is super excited for the Taylor Swift playing Tiana?"
Oh my god.
Yeah. All of these types of comments flooded this Disney post. People weren't happy about this, really. And the decision to cast Ariel as a black woman, people weren't too pleased. But despite this, Disney keeps pushing this envelope, according to Kenton Lowe.
Yay, Kenton.
So we were able to sit down with Kenton, who has worked in many different aspects of Disney from 1995 to 1999. He was a vice president of international development, Imagineering, to vice president of marketing and consumer sales, Interactive Education Publishing. He's also the current dean of business and media here at BCIT to talk more about DEI.
So I got the job at the Walt Disney Company by chance. A gentleman called me and said, "Hey, we got a position at the Walt Disney Company. Would you be interested in exploring it?"
We discussed the overarching themes of DEI in Disney films.
It's a very difficult process to create new intellectual property that's going to knock it out of the ballpark. And so there's an approach where you've already got a proven property and say, let's do a variation of it. Let's do a live action version of it and see if that will fly. Probably things that related to DEI back in the days when I was there. There might have been a little bit more caution. But even when I was there, Disney pushed the envelope and did things that were controversial. Right now, there's going to be people that say, "What? Well, they did that for Little Mermaid live action." They said, "Disney, do you recall Disney in the animated movie Ariel was not black?" There's going to be people that will always do that. Society still has those people. I would probably be a lot more aware, because I am now over the years, as I've worked for other companies as well too. I'd be a lot more aware, and it would come into play on decision making. Like we'd be asking ourselves, okay, are we making sure we are cognizant of what we're creating, that we're thinking about like diversity, equity, and inclusion?
So we were able to talk to Nimisha Mukherjee. She is a Canadian film director. She's worked on a plethora of Disney series, 2 including Mech X4 and Gabby Durant. So she gives us her take on DEI within the film production from a director's view. So let's hear what she has to say.
I think from the director's side, I felt like, okay, wow, like Disney is like cracking things open, and like the perspective, the POV is so important, like who is in charge of the POV of the episodes or the movies. I found that the way that they were approaching these stories was really, to me in some ways, I don't think it's going too far by saying it's groundbreaking, because this definitely wasn't television that I grew up watching. I think the audience, fuels demand in so many ways. And I think that the conversation has really shifted in the last, even 5 years in terms of the way that there is like a really outspoken, savvy, young demographic that, I think has demanded to see themselves represented on screen. And I think that with the competition that's occurring with social media platforms, and like you have YouTube, people want to see, audiences want, viewers want, especially young viewers want to see themselves reflected. I think whenever there's change, there is going to be backlash and resistance. To me, from what I've witnessed, and just from being, privy on the television side to internal discussions, there's just a real sense of awareness. It comes back to intention and motivations. I think that, this is a new time and a new age.
All right, guys, Disney prides itself over its ability to write, cast, and produce films and TV shows that incorporate diversity, equity, and inclusion. Our favorite acronym of this episode, DEI.
Is Disney succeeding at including DEI in their movies? Are people not accepting this and wanting Disney to cast what they feel is original? People have very different opinions, and it's hard to please everyone. So what do you think? Is Disney doing a good job, or are they trying too hard? We want to know if you're going to watch these new adaptations, and if you have already, tell us about it at behindthescenespodcast.ca.
All right, guys. Again, thank you all for listening to this week's episode. Please, please come back next week when we tune into the dark side of Nickelodeon. More specifically, our favorite, Dan Schneider. Everything hit the fan when stars started coming forward about his problematic and extremely inappropriate behavior.
This is going to be a crazy episode, guys.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikki-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikki-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.